Ladies and gentlemen, Democrats have been so happy and giddy and gleeful that, mail-in votes will give them a lead in the Electoral College on November 4th. They've been so happy. They were, oh my God, we're not going to find out the election results on November 3rd. How many times have you heard this? Well, we're not going to. So why are you so happy? Wouldn't that give President Trump more time to cheat via mail-in votes? Or absentee ballots? You trust the president and the Republican Party not to stuff ballots or to collect tens of thousands of mail-in ballots that would just increase their lead? Oh, you're happy because you're expecting to come back and win on November 4th. So they're happy, extremely happy, number one. You can sense the excitement. You can sense the happiness. Why is it that they're so interested in the election being called on November 4th? You're talking about a political party that cheated Bernie Sanders. And we know they cheated Bernie Sanders because Russia hacked the DNC to inform the country that he was cheated. Then you're talking about a political party that couldn't even find the person who was victorious in Iowa until, 2 or 3 days later in their own primary. Then they had to reject 100,000 ballots in the California primary. So then there was a Philadelphia judge of elections that was stuffing votes into ballot boxes for Democrats just recently. We can go on forever. The point is, this is so hilarious, and this is President Trump. It's not just trolling. Even the fact checkers are having a really tough time. Did Trump tell people to vote twice? This is Snopes. Did Trump tell people to vote twice? U.S. President Donald Trump told people they should vote twice in the 2020 presidential election. Mixter, what's true? Trump told people that if they vote by mail, they should also go to polling places to check whether their mailed-in ballot had been tabulated. Advice that election officials do not agree with. Oh, gee, I wonder why. And if it hadn't, vote in person. What's wrong with that? It's impossible. There's no election fraud. There's no way your vote won't be counted, right? What's false? Although Trump's advice would functionally result in some people attempting to cast two ballots, why would that matter if there's absolutely no way absentee ballots and mail-in ballots would lead to fraud? That's the point. The stated goal is to ensure people's ballots get counted, not to elicit double voting. So, Kayleigh McEnany stated the following. White House press secretary defends Trump's vote twice comments. And you saw that they fabricated and invented quotes pertaining to President Trump and people losing their lives and fallen soldiers. That was according to multiple sources, high-level officials. This is gossip and hearsay. And The Atlantic ran that story right at the day after Hillary Clinton published her article. My prediction still stands. We'll get to that as always. But the president does not condone unlawful voting. McEnany said to reporters during a White House briefing. So Kayleigh McEnany, the president has been very clear about this. They will vote, and they are going to have to check their vote by going to the poll and voting that way, because if it tabulates, then they won't be able to do that. So let them send it in and let them go vote. North Carolina's Attorney General Democrat said it's outrageous the president suggests that people break the law in order to help him sow chaos in our election. Okay, these are people, ladies and gentlemen, who are telegraphing. They have telegraphed, Trump won't leave. How many times have you heard this statement, claim without evidence? These are their actual claims, not invented and fabricated quotes like The Atlantic. Just inventing, Trump said this. I mean, can you live life that way? Can you live life in that manner? Hey, I heard I heard that your cousin said this. I heard that your brother said, oh, I heard that your coworker said this about you. Yeah, people familiar with the matter say. It's called gossip and hearsay. And nobody should engage in gossip and hearsay, especially not The Atlantic. It's not journalism. Oh, they're sources we're supposed to trust. How many sources are wearing a MAGA hat? How many Trump supporters do they know as sources? How about all their sources are Debbie Wasserman Schultz or somebody who just can't stand President Trump? And that's what CNN, the Washington Post, the New York Times, they've all done this, especially the Washington Post all the time, CNN all the time. And they all get caught. And the Washington Post just settled with Nicholas Sandmann for hopefully tens of millions of dollars. This is the era of, it's not journalism, it's public relations based on gossip and hearsay. But notice how everything is sensationalized. Oh, he's telling people to vote twice. He's telling people to vote twice. Well, no, he's not. Democrats spent 4 months, and this is after they made people vote in line. They didn't have all mail-in ballots, and they didn't have the popular vote, and they didn't have, they had state primaries, not the popular vote, but they want to do away with the Electoral College. And then they didn't have an all mail-in ballot primary. Gee, I wonder why. Or after the pandemic really hit. And so you had people voting in Wisconsin in the rain against Medicare for All, and they were voting for Biden, who will not be on that debate stage. It'll be Clinton. I'm rolling with this because this is not possible. On many levels, it's just not possible. They would get absolutely creamed and decimated and demolished this election if it's Biden. I don't trust Democrats for 1 second. I don't trust them as far as I could throw Jerry Nadler. By the way, be here 9 p.m. Pacific. We have a great live stream every evening at 9 p.m. Pacific on this channel. I'll try to be there on time this evening. But, be here 9 p.m. Pacific. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. If you want to support my voice long term, ladies and gentlemen, it is greatly appreciated. My Patreon is below. But if there's no way for your vote not to be counted or to be counted twice, what's the problem? This is why I love. I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. The Huffington Post called me the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet. This is 4 years before Rose Twitter. The Washington Post called me the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters. Okay? I thought that Bernie Sanders was somebody who fought. And I'm getting everything I wanted from Bernie Sanders in 2016 and a lot more with President Trump. Bernie Sanders 2020 is a completely different ballgame, like completely different political creature. The one thing that binds both campaigns is that he doesn't know how to fight. In Iowa in 2020, when he was obviously being cheated, because we know a show division, they used an app linked to Clinton campaign officials, former Clinton campaign officials, which makes me still hold on to my prediction. Clinton will be on that debate stage. I don't care if they mail in ballots and they'll reprint the ballots soon. Anything that there are no rules. People say, well, there are rules. That's ridiculous. So what? Just whenever Democrats say, so what? Just say, so what? I mean, believe. Tara Reade, Biden, media has swept that under the rug. They're capable of anything. They're capable. Do you remember how everyone was just so focused on justice and morality and, believe, and now it's vet the accuser. Who is talking about Tara Reade now? I thought we were supposed to believe the accuser. Oh, that's right. When a Democrat, and don't get me started on Nancy Pelosi and the hair salon. My hair is growing. I'm going to look like Willie Nelson pretty soon. My hair is going to grow down to my rear end. I'd like to get a haircut. Anyway, it's always do as I say, not as I do. They're the biggest hypocrites on the planet. The biggest hypocrites on the planet. oh, Russian interference, they purchased the Steele dossier. We can go on forever. But Trump fights. Clinton fights too. But if you think for 1 second, the only chance they have is with Clinton. So at the end of the day, if I'm wrong, we party on this channel, we party on H.A. Goodman's other channel. The only chance they have is Hillary Clinton. That's the only chance they have. With Biden, people are not going to vote for somebody who's one fry short of a Happy Meal, who slurs his speech, who looks like Father Time's grandfather. Biden looks like Tales from the Crypt's older cousin. Paint watches Joe Biden dry. The man looks like Jack Skellington's ancestors from Nightmare on Elm Street. And whenever he smiles, it's always like he looks like a one of those pumpkins, those pumpkin people on Nightmare Before Christmas. Jack Skellington. But anyway, something's going on, and it's whatever. And God forbid, it doesn't have to be a calamity. Simply a meeting. Tom Perez issues a meeting. Look, Clinton does better among black and Latino voters. Trump is actually doing better than he did in 2016 among these demographic groups. Biden's doing worse than Clinton. Biden's already tied with Trump in swing states. Biden's doing worse than Clinton in a whole bunch of states. And you know what? We've voted, and we want Clinton now. Okay, great. Reprint the ballots. Do you think media's gonna bat an eye? What do you think? You think they're gonna care? They don't care at all. If Clinton and Biden went on vacation and never came back, they went to Australia or whatever, and they're like, oh my, who to be the nominee? I mean, they could theoretically forget about if they went on vacation, just like an alternate universe. Democrats are so warped and twisted in their minds. You could take an alligator with a tie. I always say this: put a top hat on an alligator with a big, bow tie around his big fat neck. And the alligator would be polling better than Trump because the polls are public relations stunts, and you see them tightening because reality is independent of what a poll states or says. The polls now are shifting towards Trump. Why? Because the reality is he has a lot more support, and he always had that support. Millions upon millions of people don't change their sentiment within the span of a month. Okay, they pretty much have a sentiment that they carry with them. Okay, there are probably millions of people who don't like Trump's personality, but nobody cares about Trump's personality. There are probably millions of people who say, I don't know if he worked with Russia or not. I don't know. Well, whatever. But they want a good economy. They want a president to remove Americans from harm's way. And so that's what, that's why they vote for President Trump. They want Americans. He ended officially the longest running war in American history in Afghanistan. Late February, early March. Media didn't care. First president to step foot in North Korea to begin détente between North and South Korea. South Korea's President Moon Jae-in stated that Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. They didn't care. Media doesn't care. President Trump ended a covert operation to fund rebels, which was like $500 million. It was at one point $500 million, complete waste of money, to foment more chaos in that region. President Trump ended it, and the Washington Post and others said, well, that's what Putin wants. They're completely delusional. They have tried to brand themselves as the new Cold Warriors, and President Trump's removing soldiers from Iraq, which is exactly what I wanted Bernie Sanders to do. This is why I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet. It wasn't because of Medicare for All, but Medicare for All would be great if it was feasible. Over a quarter of the budget is allocated of the $4.7 trillion budget we have. Around $4.7 trillion. Around a quarter of it is healthcare for 70+ million people, or Medicare and Medicaid, and other federal programs. How do you go from 75 million or so to 320 million Americans every year, no matter what the hell? So the Mercatus study said you'd have to double to triple tax collection again, it's not me. I'm not. If it's feasible, great. Obviously, it's not feasible. Democrats won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Biden would actually veto it. And still you want to talk about grifters? I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding like some people that yell, Medicare for all, Medicare for all. Now they're saying universal basic income. How do you have, and then there's a value-added tax for that. So the cost of goods would go up. I mean, they're not going to, the left is full of ideas. The most interesting ones are not feasible. The Democratic Party ideas that they have are just marginally better than the GOP better when I say more liberal in their vantage point on key issues. And then you have just straight up neoconservatives of the Lincoln Project siding with Democrats. What did I write in the Huffington Post, the Hill and Salon? I said there's no difference on key issues, especially foreign policy, than between establishment Republicans and establishment Democrats. They're the same thing. And I was right. John Kasich spoke, how many former Republicans, nobody, that's why Trump won. They're so clueless, it's unbelievable. They are so utterly clueless. They're like, oh my God, these Republicans don't like Trump. Yeah, so what? That is exactly why Trump won. Because establishment Republicans don't like him. That's why he won. That's why he'll win again. They go with Biden, which they won't. My prediction still stands. They're done. They go with Biden, they're done. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. I mean, they can't win with Biden. They can win with Clinton. And he can't. If he's on that debate with Trump, it's game over. And the entire world will see what's going on. Like, that Trump is far superior to Biden in every way, shape, and form. The only reason people like Biden in the Democratic Party is because they are so twisted and they have such venom and vitriol towards Trump. And it's just his personality. He didn't get us into this never-ending military conflict. He's getting us out of those things. He didn't tank the economy. These are very, very we have to shut down the economy. 20% of the U.S. GDP is over 20%. California and New York, they're shut down, and still the economy the economy is slowly rebounding. I mean, oh my God, they're putting on the brakes. They're doing everything they can, but it's for people's health. That's why Pelosi went to the hair salon. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. No Californians can go to the hair salon. Do you understand? But if you're a Democratic leader, sure, you can. And you signed an NDA. So the rebuttal was, they signed an NDA. They signed the lawyers were there. So what? So what? If that was the case, I'd go get an attorney and go to Supercuts. So anyway, give me your thoughts below. Be here at 9 p.m. Pacific tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. And subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. And if you want to be part of a newsletter, it's email me at contactgoodman78@gmail.com. Thank you so very, very much. Be here at 9 p.m. Pacific.